Hey guys, this is Frag World's coverage of PAX Prime 2011, Day 2, and we're here at the Firefall booth. It's a game that is really cool, really awesome, and it's free to play. And we're here with Chris Fist. And Chris, tell us about yourself. What's your position at Red 5?
Well, I'm the marketing guru for Red 5, so I do marketing stuff. And we brought our whole team here to PAX this year. We brought all 60 members of our team. We have a huge booth. We're showing off our PvE open world for the first time, and we've got PvP going on. We've got a whole lot to show.
Very cool, yeah. I mean, I was at PAX East. You guys had a great booth, but this booth blows PAX East out of the water. I mean, it is so cool. There's so much, excitement over this game, and we're really happy to check it out. And for those of for those fans that don't really know too much about Firefall, could you tell us exactly what it is? Is it an MMO? Is it an FPS? What type of genre does this fit into, or is it a whole new genre?
Well, it is kind of a whole new genre, and that was something that we kind of struggled a lot in the initial stages, is just to define ourselves, what we were, because we really wanted to bring a lot of elements of our favorite games together. You know, some from shooters, some from MMO, even elements from RTS and other types of genres. But what we did is we created a sci-fi world, and we built a core shooter. Our game is really based around a shooter experience. So you get in and the gunplay feels awesome, the battles feel awesome, but what we added was persistence. So we have a core shooter with a persistent world, massive co-op. You can go in and play hundreds of players at a time and complete missions, participate in dynamic world events. There's just a ton of things going on.
Yeah, it looks really awesome. I mean, I got a chance to play it, and it feels refreshing. It feels like an interesting game that you could really get absorbed into, but also, you could either play 5 minutes of, or you could play 5 hours of, and it really, has a nice range.
Yeah, I mean, it has a low barrier to entry, so it's really easy to get in and pick up the game and kind of figure it out. All the game is based around your character, who wears a suit called a battle frame. Your battle frame you can swap out to, and they kind of represent classes in our game. So there's an assault battle frame, a recon, a medic, an engineer, which we just announced for PAX. So each type of battle frame is designed for different types of gamers, low twitch, high twitch. You can pretty much find anything that fits your play style. You'll find something. So.
Very cool, very cool. And you can sort of see that it accommodates many different people and many different play styles. I got a chance to play the medic. Feels very cool to play. You can sort of power up your teammates and heal them as they're fighting. It's really cool to connect with a heavier armored guy and just roll around with them. This is also designed by the lead designer from Tribes, right? Tribes 1 and 2.
Yeah, actually we have a pretty good pedigree in the office. We have Scott Youngblood is our lead designer. He was a designer of Tribes and Tribes 2, and also our CEO Mark Kern is the ex-team lead for World of Warcraft. So he basically built WoW, and then 5 years ago broke off and started Red 5. This game's been in development for 5 years, which if you look at it, you can see it's got a level of polish that's unique for a free-to-play game, and that's really where we're trying to come out, is as a AAA free-to-play title.
Awesome, awesome. So we got a little demo going on behind you. Why don't you give us a little walkthrough of what's going on here?
Sure, sure. So right now you're in Copacabana, which is a part of our world. It's a city in our world, and what's happening right now is the city is under attack. Actually, maybe not. Right now this player is in the town, and he's got some missions going on. So he's trying to go out and figure out where to plant a thumper so he can go mine resources and then use those resources to customize and upgrade the battle frame. By doing that, he can slot in different abilities. Each character or each battle frame has abilities that are tied to it, so it's not just gunplay. You have abilities like that act like spells. And right now he's headed out to this area where you see it says resource node to go plant a thumper. And this is like an example of a dynamic mission type that's in our game. You'll go out and plant a thumper, and it'll start to mine resources. And because it's making noise and doing stuff, it'll call a bunch of bad things that you got to defend, so that it'll finish mining the resources. So you'll kind of see here in a second, he's going to plant it, and as soon as he drops that down, you'll look up and it'll start coming down from the sky.
So explain exactly like the enemies we're going to see here.
So the story kind of behind Firefall is that there's a huge asteroid storm that hit the planet and wiped out big portions of the planet. And with that asteroid storm came something else. So that has transformed the face of the planet and taken over a lot of the area. So the humans are trying to take it back. It's a fight for survival. It's a fight for resources. With the asteroid came this mineral called crystite, and crystite is a huge power source when refined. So the humans are trying to mine crystite to be able to upgrade their technology and take back parts of the planet. So right now he's fighting against some creatures that have been affected by the melding, which is the force that is basically taken over most of the planet. And he got a drop here. He just picked up a new battle frame, which is kind of cool. You'll notice as you kill things in the world, you get loot. Loot drops. You'll get crystite, ammunition, health, and also items. And you can use those items to slot into your battle frame, upgrade them, and change your ability sets.
Very cool.
Yeah. So this mission will continue on until the thumper's full, and then it'll take off. And another thing that'll happen, you might not see it at this point, but occasionally you'll get messages from our SYN network. SYN is the communication network that's telling you about missions in the world and things going on. And sometimes there'll be bad stuff happening around the town, and you'll get teleported back to the town and have to defend it and sort of keep that area clear so you can still continue to get missions in that area, continue to do things. It's kind of a really cool, dynamic co-op event.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So going back to a couple more questions that I have,
Sure.
What's sort of the party system like? This is sort of an MMO type game, style game of where it is, in dynamic environment with a lot of people in there. How do you sort of team up with players to take on these missions and take on these enemies that are attacking the base and stuff like that?
So in our game we have kind of a guild or clan equivalent called armies. It's a sci-fi world, and we're at war basically against the melding and the chosen. So you can join armies or create armies and then faction those off into different squads and team up with people. But it's truly a co-op experience like nothing you've seen before, because you can be in the world with hundreds of other players at a time and team up with all those players to fight against a chosen invasion or take out a drop ship that's trying to wipe out your town. It's really, there's no limit to the number of people that can team up to accomplish something. And the game will scale with how many people are in the world and how they're fighting against whatever they're fighting against at the time.
That's very cool. Our site actually is very dedicated to clans and guilds, and we hold MMO manifestos and FPS manifestos to sort of branch out between the developers and the clans and the guild leaders. And so it's very cool to hear that you are supporting guilds and clans. Is there any current support online or in the game, and how's that sort of? Could you elaborate a little bit how that dynamic is going to work? Is it going to be familiar to, for example, BF3 player, like Battlefield players, or is it going to be more familiar to WoW players?
Well, I can't really go into details on how it's specifically going to look at this point, but basically our plan is to integrate as much of that into game as we possibly can. So a lot of the features that you would normally have to go outside the game for, if in WoW or other types of games, guild websites and that kind of thing, it'll be integrated into our game. You'll be able to access it in both places, so you can you can do those types of things, set calendars, create groups, plan out strategic attacks. You can do all of that in game and also on the web.
Cool, cool. And you know, this game is looking amazing. I cannot wait for it. It sounds really cool. I can't wait for more information on it. When can we get our hands on it?
That's the question on everybody's mind. Basically, we're doing a different type of launch than most MMO type games. You know, we don't really call ourselves an MMO. We kind of are leaning more towards like a FPS with persistence. But basically, we're starting our beta right after PAX is over. So we're going to start sending out invites and continue to grow that beta throughout the end of the year to have a wide open release in December.
All right, cool. Well, Chris, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you. And check out Firefall. It looks sick.
Yeah, go online, firefallthegame.com. Check us out. We're going to be doing lots of cool stuff in the future.
All right, cool. Take care.